Hello guys, welcome to another episode with the Express channel. So today we're going to be talking about immigration to the UK, the study visa, and all the information that is ongoing. So if you're actually following the UK news in terms of the study visa, now what's study visa? This is the visa that most students use, or international students use, to come into the UK. So if you're actually following the news, you'll find out that we've been hearing information on the possible cut down of study visa, or the possible cut down of immigration, or the possible cut down of dependency. So today we're going to talk about what immigrant students or those who are coming needs to do, and how they can actually work around these restrictions for their own benefits, because a lot of videos are talking about the problem. So we just want to make a big changes, talking about what the problem and possible solutions one can actually do in order so that this will not so really affect them so much. Most times we've just been hearing like rumors and rumors. There haven't been any official statements, or the prime minister has not even said anything in regards to it. I've researched that the prime minister have said something on it, and we're going to be talking about it in this video. If this video is what you're actually interested in, or if our content is what you're interested in, because we talk about immigration to different countries, both for study and both for work, will encourage you to hit that like button and also subscribe. And to my returning subscribers, I always say thank you for being with us, and let's get started to this video. Thank you. So guys, if you actually following the UK news, like we said before, you found out that we previously had Liz Truss, who was the previous prime minister, and then we had Sule Braverman, who was the home secretary, and she has always been hitting on the fact that they need to reduce the amount of students coming in to study into the UK. She resigned before, and then we have a new prime minister who brought her back. So obviously this has always been our agenda, and that's what they're going to talk about. So guys, like we all know, the UK allows students come into the UK through the study visa, and of recent this is what so many people have actually been using to come into the UK. And due to the high number of people coming to the UK, because if you go through the news now, there's something about the UK hitting the highest level, which has never happened before. The UK have hit almost 504,000 immigration just this year, and this is their all-time high. And you know, UK is not really a very big island in terms of spacing, so because of all this, there's just this increase in scarcity of accommodation. So some students coming to the UK, and it's quite difficult now to even get accommodation, even for people that even in the UK now it's difficult, let alone those coming into the UK. And then you've also heard information about people having to sleep in school, and because there's no accommodation, and being the cost of things being high, students even have to stay in Airbnb for too long, and it's really hitting the UK hard. The crisis is getting so much. So being a country in a developed world, you understand, they have to come back to think about what's ongoing. They have to review everything. The price of living is gone up, there's no accommodation. What is actually causing the problem? It's not found that the demand and the supply is no longer equivalent. So when the demand is more than the supply, it gets really difficult. One, the price of things goes up, and then the resources which they have in their country can't accommodate other people. So they have to sit down and think it's time for them to really do something about it. So that's the cause of this video. So of recent, the Rishi Sunak, which is the prime minister, has not really said so much about it, but now he has made a statement that Rishi Sunak is, this is now is the information being sent on BBC. And you know, BBC is a very big channel. It's not just any hard channel that will come and say something without it having validation. So for BBC itself to carry this information now, before we have been hearing rumors about all this, but for now, for BBC to carry this information, that's to tell you that it's time for us to begin to think about what we have to do. So now I'm reading this from BBC News. Now BBC News says the PM spokesman said the idea was being looked at after official figures showed net migration to the UK has climbed to a record 500,000. So it means it has risen, but they declined to define a low quality degree or preempt any politics or policy division. The government migration advisor warns it will bankrupt many university. So what's ongoing now is saying that yes, migration is needed for the country, but the prime minister is saying that at this moment the rise in immigration is making them to really look at this situation and say, what is the way can we curb this condition, what can we do. Another newspaper called The Time has also reported that plans to bring down numbers, which because they started talking about this thing now in their general meeting, so plans to bring down these numbers could include restricting admission to top universities as well as restricting visas for student dependents. So you also observe that most people, especially from countries like India, Pakistan, Nigeria, these are the top countries now with people coming in through this study visa route. So they found that there's also a rise not just only in the student but also in the dependent visa too. So they are thinking, or this is one of the factors which they are considering, that they might start putting a bit of restrictions just to curb the number of immigrants coming into their country. This is part of what they are going to discuss about. So it's not being said this is what they are going to do, this is what they are going to discuss about. Also, the Home Office, this is Sule Braverman, has previously complained about foreign students bringing in family members who can piggyback onto their student visa and propping up frankly substandard courses in inadequate institutions. So they haven't said what are the inadequate institutions, no, neither have they said what are the substandard courses. Nobody has known what they are talking about yet, but they refuse to also enlighten what they are talking about, which course they feel is inadequate. So but they are thinking, they are trying to review, because if they started talking about this and BBC News and the Times are not carrying it, it means that this is something that they might really deliberate on, because really the crisis is increasing and they need to curb the crisis as much as possible. Also, they also said that what's the name, the university body though, because previously, if you listen, this library man raised this up and it caused a lot of problem, because the universities were like, if you try to cut down the amount of immigrant students or cut down the amount of dependents coming into the UK, it could affect the income coming. Because if you really look at it, in the UK, most students are on study loans which the government have given. So the way this university or the government get this other money to replace, they double the fee for students coming in, that's international students, and this kind of also help them continue the service in which they are rendering to people. As you can see here, the Department of Education raised concern over university funding if the number of high fee paying international students is cut off. An advisor on immigration policy has warned that universities could go bankrupt if there is a clampdown on the so-called low quality degrees. And also, it also told BBC that it will send many universities over the edge, particularly in the poorer region. So another thing they were thinking about is maybe they will allow some universities that, let's say the most popular universities or the high expensive one, to be the one to kind of allow bringing immigrant students, while the ones that are not the so-called popular, or maybe those ones are offering courses that are not to them high standard courses, they will not allow them to, they will not give them the opportunity anymore. So these are things that they were considering. So these people are warning them that if you do things like that, it's going to affect the economy very badly. Yes, and it's going to cause more dependence on the UK. You know, right now the UK is actually struggling in terms of just inflation everywhere. So each sector in the country is actually really having inflation issues, and they are trying to manage the economy effectively. So they are warning the government to be careful. So as you can see, there's a dilemma between this, but one thing for sure that is actually ongoing is that the secretary and the prime minister and the parliament there are considering ways in which they can cut down the immigration. So what can you do as an immigrant? First, number one is you can try other visas. So at the moment they are really focusing more on study visa, and there are so many other visas that you can come into the UK with. Visas like, we've got the scale up visa, we've got the global talent visa, we've got the skilled worker visa, we've got the minister of religion visa. We've done a video on this before, so I'll encourage you guys to go up, research on it, and or watch that video in which we've done and see how you can take advantage of it. So another way you can actually take advantage of this opportunity too is to try to look at the courses. So if you've really listened to all I've said, or what other YouTube channels have been saying, or what other what is actually going on the news, because I'm also going to be dropping this link in the description, you observe that they've been hitting on low quality courses. So you go to the gov.uk website and check out courses that are said to be on the shortage occupation list, and these are more of the courses whereby they will probably not want to cut down because they know these are shortage occupation list, and which people can do a postgraduate and probably stay in their country to be a source of boost into their economy. So see how you can bring yourself in to study those courses. So let's say you look at courses like the sciences courses, tech courses, medical courses. You know, these are courses in which they will call high or political courses too. These are courses they'll probably be calling high quality courses. You understand? You look at it and say, okay, how can you position yourself in the way that you can go or travel for this course if the UK is where you want to actually come into. So even if you have to take like a 6-month course to bring yourself into that position, or you have to take like a 1-year course just so that you can be able to go ahead and come out to further your degree, if the UK is actually what you are interested in. Another way you can do is you can try other countries. There are so many other beautiful countries right now. We've got Germany, New Zealand. Like currently New Zealand are really giving opportunities to immigrants, so you should actually try that. You have Australia, we have Canada, you have even the US. And the US, we've done a video before talking about how you can actually relocate and you're going to be on a scholarship, and there are so many scholarships out there in the USA, so you can try the US too. And you see that these are ways in which you can try other countries. Even France, like they are giving opportunity. Finland, we did the previous video on Finland, how Finland is giving people free study, so you can try these other countries instead of just the UK and see how you can actually take advantage. If you've not been able to do that and you still want to bring your dependency, the next thing I can tell you to do is to do it now, like speed up your process. So if you can speed up your process and you really want to come to the UK, really come to the UK, so and you've already gotten an admission, start to do everything possible to apply for the admission, and then start to do everything possible to get the admission, and then apply for the visa on time, and also visa for your dependents, so that you can come to the UK, so that when they finally decide, depending on what they decide though, if it goes the other way around, it won't really affect you because you've already positioned yourself rightly. Now other ways is to come in through the job routes. Like there are so many jobs out there. Let's say you have skills like you've got skills like into tech or into driving. Like you just need to up your skills, go online, search for all these jobs, look at the requirements, up your skills when your home country, wherever you are, so that you can be able to say, okay, you've got experience in this field, and then you'll be able to apply for a skilled worker visa. And as they are not speaking about the work visa, so you can take advantage of those other visas they're talking about. So these are all we have today for you. So just stay tuned to the channel, because whenever they decide to release what they have or what they have in store for the UK student or the immigrant students, who are going to let you know about it. Thank you for watching this video, and my name is Stella. Next video we're going to be talking about how to actually travel to New Zealand to study, and we're going to be talking about the requirements. Like also we're also going to focus on other countries too that are accepting students at the moment, since the UK are kind of thinking on cutting on their own. So if this is the kind of content that you're actually interested in, like we always say, hit that subscribe button and hit that like buttons so that we grow together. We will also encourage you to drop your comments on what you think about this ongoing dilemma between the UK and the universities, and also if you know of any popular countries in which people are relocating to for study, you can also drop in the comment section so that people will learn. Or if you have any country you have interest in going and we haven't spoke on, you can also drop it in the comment section so that we can speak on it. We are very swift in responding to anything that you ask, or if you're not clear on what to do or you have any dilemma, you can also send a message to our email and we'll get back to you. Thank you very much, and bye for now.